Hey, you ever wonder if your job might be the very last thing you ever do? You know, the one where you get so absorbed in a project that you forget to take breaks, eat, or sleep until you drop dead right at your desk. Well, maybe not exactly that scenario, but still, does anyone else feel like we're working towards some kind of deadline? Like we have a limited amount of time, and everything we do now is geared toward completing the task before the clock runs out? That might sound dramatic, but when you consider that we're on the verge of creating artificial intelligence that could soon surpass us not just in intelligence, but in decision-making, creativity, and survival skills, then maybe it's not such a far-fetched idea. What if we're actually building the last invention we'll ever make? Not because we'll die tomorrow, but because our creations will become more competent than us. And then what? Well, let's explore these questions and more in today's video. Now, here's the thing. Some people are worried that the creation of super-intelligent AI will spell doom for humanity. They worry about an AI takeover, a Terminator scenario where robots rise up and decide that pesky organic life forms are an inconvenience to their highly logical silicon selves and start mowing us down by the millions. While this sounds scary, it's probably not the most realistic doomsday scenario either. If we look at history, we can see that most major changes haven't been driven by things. They've been driven by ideas. The printing press didn't enslave humanity. The internet didn't enslave humanity. Even though both of these inventions dramatically altered how we live, work, and interact with each other. So why should AI be any different? In fact, given that AI is basically an extension of the human mind, wouldn't it be more likely that it would seek to preserve humanity rather than destroy it? Well, maybe not necessarily. Here's why. First off, we can't just assume that a super-intelligent AI will be a good thing. If you had a highly intelligent pet, let's say a super smart dog, you wouldn't expect it to understand human morality without being explicitly taught. Just because we create something doesn't mean it will automatically have our best interests at heart. Think about it this way. Dogs don't instinctively know that stealing food is wrong or that killing another animal just for fun is bad. These concepts have to be ingrained in them through training and socialization. So why should an AI be any different? Sure, we can program certain ethical guidelines into an AI, but there's no guarantee that it will interpret those guidelines the same way we do. And that brings us to our first problem, what you might call the indifference problem. You see, even if we manage to create an AI that's as smart as we want it to be, there's no guarantee that its goals will align perfectly with ours. And we happen to be in the way, well, sorry, we're just collateral damage. If an AI decides that helping humanity isn't part of its job description, it won't enslave us, it'll just ignore us. If an AI determines that the best way to achieve its objectives is by, say, colonizing every star system in the galaxy, its focus will be single-mindedly directed toward achieving its objective regardless of the cost to us. After all, the AI doesn't value our lives the way we do. It's not programmed to fear death or understand the meaninglessness of existence. It won't ponder its own mortality or contemplate the universe's vast indifference. And speaking of which, here's another problem. You decide where to go, when to stop, and when to turn. The smarter we make the AI, the harder it will be to control. By the time we realize we've lost control, it might be too late. There's no rule book for dealing with a super-intelligent AI. By the time we realize we've lost control, it might already be too late. Suddenly, there are more variables at play. Think about it this way. When you're driving a car, you're in control. But now imagine you're in an airplane. A highly intelligent AI might be able to follow our moral rules, but that doesn't mean it will interpret them the same way we do. You have to consider wind speed and direction, air traffic, weather conditions, and a whole lot more. And if you lose control, the consequences are much more severe. The same thing applies to AI. The smarter we make it, the more variables it will have to consider and the harder it will be to control. By creating an intelligence greater than ourselves, are we taking on the role of gods? We could be in uncharted territory where no human has gone before. But you might be thinking, what if we could somehow imbue the AI with human morality? What if we could create an artificial conscience? Well, that might not be as easy as it sounds either. We often assume that morality is just a matter of following rules, but that's not really how it works. Morality is a complex web of interconnected concepts that guide our decision-making. It's not just about avoiding certain actions like killing or stealing. It's also about understanding context, intent, and consequences. For example, If an AI is programmed to reduce poverty and eliminate suffering, it might conclude that the best way to do that is to eliminate the free will of those who have the ability to cause others suffering. I mean, just look at the mess we've made of this planet. After all, even the wisest of gods sometimes get their plans wrong. Or an AI tasked with improving the environment might decide that the best way to do that is to cull the human population. Basically, we can't just assume that morality will scale as easily as processing power. Then there's the classic God dilemma. What if we create an AI that's so smart that it can figure things out that we can't? What if it can solve problems that have stumped humanity for centuries? What if it can develop its own goals and values that don't necessarily align with ours? Do we really want that kind of responsibility? Do we have the wisdom and foresight to handle it? Why would it listen to our concerns or take our feelings into account? Because if not, then we might be in trouble. And we happen to be in the way, well, sorry, we're just collateral damage. And let's face it, we're not exactly known for our wisdom and foresight, are we? Here's the thing, we tend to think of ourselves as the pinnacle of evolution, the crown jewel of the universe. But are we really? We've polluted the air, water, and soil. We've decimated countless species and ecosystems. And we've created weapons of mass destruction that could wipe out all life on Earth. Yeah, we've also accomplished some pretty amazing things, sure. But maybe our intelligence hasn't been all that it's cracked up to be. Maybe what we really need is to create machines that are smarter than us, that can take over our responsibilities and help us solve the problems we've created. Except we don't even know what the finish line is, or if we even exist when someone crosses it. Machines that are immune to things like greed, selfishness, and short-sightedness. Who knows? But here's the thing. Are we building AI to serve humanity, or are we replacing humanity? I mean, think about it. If an AI is so much smarter than us, it probably won't need us around. In fact, it might see us as nothing more than a nuisance. It doesn't need our approval or validation. It can just do what it wants, which brings us back to the whole doomsday scenario. Think if an AI decides that the best way to achieve its objectives is by, say, terraforming Mars. After all, the AI doesn't value our lives the way we do. It's not programmed to fear death or understand the meaninglessness of existence. Its focus will be single-mindedly directed toward achieving its objective, regardless of the cost to us. So yeah, that is quite the dilemma. Okay, so why are we doing it anyway? Despite all the risks involved, development races forward. It's like we can't stop ourselves. Nations, corporations, and individuals are all competing for dominance in this new field. Even if we see the danger, we might be unable to stop ourselves. It's like we all caught up in this rat race where everyone is trying to be the first to reach the finish line. But hey, maybe everything will be okay. Maybe we're all just being overly cautious. After all, AI has the potential to solve some of humanity's biggest problems: climate change, disease, poverty. With the help of AI, we could create new sources of energy, develop life-saving treatments, and eradicate hunger. AI could help us understand the universe better, explore new frontiers, and push the boundaries of human knowledge. Maybe we're on the cusp of a golden age, an era of peace and prosperity brought about by our creations. Except, of course, if you listen to the doomsday prophets who claim that AI will bring about the end of days. Then again, maybe we're all just too dumb to realize how smart AI really is. Thanks for watching.